Hello all. So I hope you're all gearing up for your practical exams. It'll be starting from, I think, next, like maybe from Tuesday, you might have your practical exams. So I just thought I will give you a general guidelines for your practical exams, for your computer science practical exams. So you can see this page in your syllabus in the website of CBSE Academic. You can see that there is this page which gives you an overall idea of what you're going to do. Right. So now this practical is not to be taken lightly. You have to take it very seriously because you have a solid 30 marks from this practicals, be it physics, chemistry, or computer science or biology for that matter. So computer science students, what you have to do for your practical exam is you have to definitely stick on to what your teacher says, because all the programs here are decided by the teacher. The syllabus says you have to have around 15 programs. So the 15 programs could be from a variety of topics. It could be from Python review also. You could have some list programs, tuples, dictionaries. The teacher could decide to include 3 or 4 programs from 11th standard portions also. And they have to focus on mainly files and stacks, because that is the major logic that you have in this year. So the different components here will come from the bottom, will come from the Viva OC. So Viva questions, it's nothing to panic. The mark also here, it keeps changing every year. So there is no hard and fast rule that it will be like this. But yes, because it is given in the syllabus, ideally the teacher should follow this. So this will be there in the mark sheet that they have. So it has been, I have completed around 10 full years of teaching computer science. So from my various experience in going as an external examiner to other schools for conducting practical exams and conducted myself for my own students, I have found one thing is all of us, we want you to score 30 out of 30. That is the first rule here. So there is nothing like we want to reduce marks for you. Whether I am an internal examiner, your own computer science teacher, or whether I am coming from a different school, the idea behind any teacher is they want to make sure that they are allowing you to get your full marks. So to score 30 on 30, is it difficult? No, it is very, very easy. And that too with computer science, it's much more easier than your other subjects, I feel. Because there are 2, 3 reasons. First is your Viva. If you look at the Viva here, generally some experienced teachers, if you look at physics or chemistry, they might ask questions from entire book. They will give you say lesson and reaction, and they will ask you to give the reaction for it. Maybe they will not reduce marks, but definitely they are going to give you the tension there. Whereas when computer science is concerned, they might not ask you anything out of your book, because your practical syllabus and your theory syllabus are nearly the same. Usually teachers avoid asking networks also. We don't go and test them on networks. So how will you conduct a practical exams? What can you expect there? Many schools, they will give you the list of programs. So if I'm going to conduct a practical exam, I will have a set of question papers. So depending on the strength of the batch, if I say I have 30 students in my class, I am dividing them into 15, 15, and my lab can hold 15 students at a time comfortably. There are 15 computers for that matter. I might choose to have 7, probably 7 questions only. So I will just have 2 sets of the same question paper. So 7 question papers, I will have definitely, as they have given, only 1 Python program and SQL. So this is my set. So in that Python program also, usually they will try to give you only from text file, binary file, CSV file, stacks. So the teacher will tell you which are those 8 programs. They will give you the 8 to 10 programs, which the exact question, there is not even a change in the question. They will ask, it is not like a theory exam where you can get anything of this model. It's not like that. If it is text file, they will tell you exactly what you're going to do in a text file. So you have your question paper well in advance, so you know what you're going to do. So this is the first thing. Then you're going to have your pre-made answer. So since you know the question already, no going in the last minute and say, oh, I know this question, I can manage it there. Don't give that tension. Remember, the teacher is in charge of a lot of things. They have to help you. If you get stuck, you have to show the output. The output verified, the internal examiner will do, whereas the external will be checking your records and your projects, and she is in charge of the Viva. So as an internal examiner, she cannot come and help you. She can maybe go around, and if there is a quick error, she can help you fix it. But it is very, very difficult, remember, at that time to completely sit and debug your program. If you write a different logic than what she has already taught you, it is going to be difficult to find the error. So first of all, you also learn different errors it can throw. For example, if you are using a text file program, you're opening it in read mode. You are just using a text file. You are saying, let's say C:\Pavitra. it is throwing an error. So you have to know what the error is. It's just no such file or directory found. You know that you have forgotten in the system, there is no folder. Why will this happen? Before the practical exam, there is a rule that they have to clean up all the systems. So they will just maybe delete all your older programs. And there is one requirement, internet should be switched off. There are some criteria from CBSE. They can come anytime and check that. So usually they will clean up all the existing folders. So you might have by-hearted or memorized a program with exactly the file name as some path. So if you're trying to fix it and you get the error, you should be able to fix those small errors by yourself without getting help from the teacher. Very, very important thing in your practical exams, do not panic and do not create a fuss there. Don't show your helplessness there. The teacher will know. The teacher will know which student is good, which student can manage on their own, which student needs help. Everything the teacher will know, and she will look at the correct time to come and help you. Right? Even the external will allow them to help. So don't think that nobody should help you in this practical exam. They will help you. But do not resort to cheating. Do not take any bits in your pocket and get caught. Don't try to ask the next person to, don't talk to them and get caught. Don't do all these things in a board exam, because a lot of things are recorded. So some schools will have to record the practical session, and we don't know when the flying squads will come. So do not put yourself into any additional trouble. It is just a very simple practical exams. You're in your home ground. You're in your own school lab and doing this. It is not a board exam where you're going outside and writing a test. So have that confidence while doing your things. Definitely, it is going to be easy. If at all you do not get an answer also, please wait. Anyone, either the external or internal, will come and help you, and they will make sure that you complete. Even if it takes an extra 1 hour after everybody has gone out also, do not panic. They will make sure that you finish the program and then only leave the lab. So remember that they will not reduce any marks for you for that. That is also there. So do not think that they are going to reduce marks. Maybe they will not tell you that openly, because then if you go and tell your juniors that, then the next batch will not take the practical seriously. But from your end, you have to be sure you have to memorize all the programs very well. Okay. So once this part is done for the Viva, the external examiner is going to ask you some. It is a matter of pride for any teacher, any computer science teacher. Whatever she has taught you for the 1 year, just revise that once before you go for your practical exam. So if they're asking you, okay, what is the difference between seek and tell? What is the difference between load and dump? Try to answer very politely, very nicely. Do not overcomplicate things. And if you do not know the answer for any question, very politely tell, ma'am, because yes, you can now say, because computer science has 23 days holidays, I did not revise the concepts well enough, ma'am. I will definitely read well before my theory exam. Be very polite in saying that, and I think most of us will just smile and leave it at it. So do not try to give some answers or that is not there in the book. Do not argue at all. It is not there in this book. My ma'am did not teach me. So it's like you don't shift the blame if you don't know the answer to the teacher. It will irritate the teacher. She is the one who has to give you the 30 marks. So please do not do that at all. Right? So just be polite. Viva questions is not like cornering you. It is only to understand how much you have understood. For external, I'll be happy to know, right? If I am going as an external to some other school, I would want to know what those students know, which my students do not know. So I will try to ask them some questions and see if they give some nice, bright answers and all. So that way, it is only the curiosity factor there. It is not to reduce any marks. So Viva, you have to prepare. Yes, basics you can prepare. If you do not know the answer for any question, be just polite and accepting that we have not yet revised the concepts, ma'am. I will do that. So then they will ask you, if you do not answer 2-3 questions, they will ask you, okay, now explain what you know. So you can explain whatever program you did. You have to be thorough in that program. So the 8 programs or 10 programs which your teacher is going to tell you to prepare it properly. It's not just like why they will ask you, why should you do this? Why are you using F is equal to open while with open is the better way? You can just say, ma'am, it is little complicating in the syntax there. When I say with open colon and all I have to give, it makes it little difficult, ma'am. So I learned it in this way, so I am using it this way. But yes, ma'am, I know that this with open is a much better way of programming, right? So this is regarding your Viva project. It's very, very important. Many of you might have just downloaded some project from the internet. I know that importance you might not have given for doing things on your own, or you could have even been in a group project, right? A group project where there are 3-4 students and only one of them does the actual project and the others you just copy paste. It is perfectly fine as long as you know every line in your project. So this is the time for you to understand your project. The external will really want to know, like you have done using TK Inter, so very nice graphics and all are there. Everything is fine. But to one extent, also honestly accept to the external if she's asking that, yes, ma'am, we downloaded some code from wherever and we have made some modifications. You can also explain what modifications we understood the code. So they will ask you to explain the code. So you have to just explain. You have to be very thorough in your project, because just downloading something and passing it as your project will not go well with the external examiners. So understand your project well and be prepared to have a few questions on that. Same answer there also. You can always say that no, if it goes to a level where you are not able to show that you know the answer, be polite in accepting that you do not know the answer. So this is regarding your Viva and your project. So this you have to be ready well before. You should be having probably a soft copy also of the project with you, either in your mail, so that if needed, they might ask you for a demo. I'm not sure. Most schools nowadays, they are not asking for a project demo. The internal examiner says, I have checked the project, it is done. So usually it is not required. If your teacher says she is taking care of that, then there is no need for you to have a soft copy. But otherwise, yes, you might have, some teachers might have ask you to have a soft copy of the project also. So record, do it on time, get all your corrections, whatever neatly they are asking you to cover it, and make sure that the index page is all filled and everything is done. So I think by this time you should have done all these things there, right? So now coming back to your actual exam. So usually they will arrange it like a row. In a row, they'll have all the programs one after the other. You will not know the order basically. Even sometimes the internal examiner keeps an order and they might try to help the peak students, but we cannot be sure at all, because randomly the external examiner, sometimes he just comes, checks all the question papers once and puts it in some random order. So you cannot believe that it will be in some order where the easy ones will be here, tough ones will be there. It is very, very difficult. So do not go by that at all. Be prepared to get any one of those 10 programs. So first one is that. Now, not only programs, write and see ones. Just don't be overconfident, because in Python, indent will make a big error. So write the program once and see if, check it with the one that you have written in your record or observation, and make sure that you have run everything correctly. Like for example, in binary files, you have to put a while true and try except blocks. If you get confused in the tension, you just change and do not put that. It is not going to work for you. So do not make those mistakes. SQL, very, very important. Ideally, it is like a board exam. They will be giving you an answer booklet. So when there is an answer booklet there, you have to avoid striking off anything. So usually, sometimes the teachers themselves say, if they are very new, they say, write the program first, then go and type it there, which I would strongly not recommend, because even though you're very thorough with the program, if you make a mistake in writing, then you might have to strike it off and write again, which is generally not allowed in a practical exam. So make sure to write your aim and wait there. After your practical exam is over, do not just rush and come back home. Just be there till your teacher asks you to go home. Because there are cases where result will carry, in the entire thing, the result might carry 1 mark. So if you forget to write the result, there is a chance that they have to cut that 1 mark, right? There is no other chance. And we cannot write the result ourselves, though we know it is a very stupid thing to do, right? Thus the result is verified, that is what you're going to write, because a program has been written to implement this. But still, as part of procedure, it has to be there. So the aim is your question. You will write the aim, and most of the schools do not ask you to sometimes they don't even ask you to write the program. They ask you to just type the program and they'll get a printout also. But nowadays, I think Python is very small, so they can ask you to write the program also. Write the program, and then output you might have to write or might not have to write, depends completely on the teacher and the external there. So listen to those instructions very carefully of what they are saying. SQL. So SQL, some schools, they create the database separately and they have the tables ready for you. So you just have to go there and type the query correctly, and after you verify that the result is there, you have to write it there. But some schools do not do that. They just say write the SQL. So write the SQL, get it verified by the teacher, and then only make it into pen. So try to write it in a pencil. I would suggest that. So depending on your teacher, what she says. But again, here also, if you strike it off, you stand at a risk of losing half a mark, because they can reduce that, saying that you're not thorough. So they also need to, they cannot give 30 out of 30 for all the students. Sometimes they might have to show some of them got a 29 or 29 and a half also. So I don't want you to be in that category. I do want you to be in the 30 on 30 category. So always be sure, write down all the SQLs and check once. So if you have a select star from, make sure that you write it correctly. Usually they'll give only the same programs that you have in your record. So you can stick on to that and finish this off, right? So this is regarding your practicals. There is nothing much to prepare, I would say. And the suggested practical list here, you can see that read a text file line by line and display each word separated by a hash. So it is just read and write. So text file, you can always see this programs that we have done in the previous series for text files, binary files, and CSV files. All these programs would already be there. So it is nothing new that, so number of vowels, consonants, uppercase, lowercase characters in the file also we have done already. You just have to open a text file and start doing the counting there. And then there is one transfer program alone. So transfer program, I'm not sure if I've already done, but yes, I will do that also. And then there are two binary file. One is searching for a given roll number, and the other one is updating the marks for a given roll number. So both we have already done. And random number generator is the program given here. Just import random, it will take care of the rest also. Usually they don't ask this program. So coming to the stack, so they have just given, write a program to implement a stack using list. That's all. So usually they give you a very, very simple program. Let's say divisible by 5, 3 or 5. So these are all board exam questions. So they can just give you a list and they will just say, from this list, whichever numbers are divisible, just put it inside another stack and print the stack. So that is one simple stack program. CSV file, they are only asking for read and search as far as your practical list is considered itself. So they're not even asking you to do any update or delete in a CSV file. They're only asking to read and print. It is show. So these are the programs given by CBSE, and mostly these are the programs also, right? These are the programs that are there in your practical list also. I'll quickly do a few for you. So you can see that there is in text file, we'll just quickly brush up text files because in text files, we know how to read, how to write, and how to search. Now there is only the extra thing is how to copy from one file to another. I think you also know this also. Let's start practicing this as functions itself. So when I say def create, right? So I'm going to create a new text file. So let's say f is equal to open. Let me give my folder name here. Let me say, so 20, right? So if I do not do anything, it means it is for reading, but I'm going to create it. So let me give my write mode here, write or an append mode. So that's it. I have opened a file now. So now I can do multiple ways of doing this. I can just get, so I can ask the users how many lines he has, right? So I can just say n is equal to, or I can just say while true. I'm going to endlessly keep creating this. X is equal to input, enter a line, type exit to stop. So now I'm getting line by line from the user. I've opened only one file. So now it's going to just put it there, right? So f dot write of a string, done. So now this is going to keep on going. And because I have put a while true there, the only way I can exit this loop is by using a break statement. So if x is equal to exit, break. Not a very good strategy at all. I would not recommend you to do this, but yes, it depends. Again, as I'm saying, it's like each school will have a different set of ideas. So teacher might have given you a program. If you have understood that program, stick to that program, but stick to one program. Always remember, do not try anything new here. It is not worth it. So just remember to use the same logic that you have been always using so that there is no confusion in the last minute, right? So you have to just write it. And once you're out, you're done. I will do my if dot close. Now this function should take care of creating a file for me. I'm calling the function here itself. Now let's say def show. I'm going to display this file. So I'm going to do the same thing. F is equal to open. I'll give the same file name. See, in the board exam, for the theory exam, I don't think you have to write the fully qualified name. This I'm doing because I can show you the file. That is the reason I'm doing this. So I can go there and actually check that the file is created there, modify it, and then use it in my program. So now I have opened it in read mode and I have to read, right? So now I can just read and display the contents. So there's an interesting thing here also. Without reading it also, it is actually after, as soon as you open, because it is by default in read mode only, it is showing you that you can directly print it also. But anyway, I will go it as lines. So x is equal to, again, f dot, I'm reading it line by line. And for each line in x, I'm saying print x. And I'm calling my show function. Now, the idea is to copy. So let me write a def copy. So in def copy, I need two files. So let me open my f is equal to open. I want to open the first file in read mode only. So I'll open that in read mode. And let's say I need a f2. I'll open that in a write mode. It will be a new file. Let this be in write or an append mode. Right. Now I have two files. I'm going to start reading like how I did in the previous case. If A in line. Very simple. They're asking you if the line contains A, then transfer it to the other file or copy it to the other file. So if do dot write line. They can just modify it a little bit. They can say instead of it, because it's very simple here, they will not want to follow the exact syllabus as given in CBSE the syllabus page. They might say containing an. Same thing will work there because we know that string functions, there are so many beautiful concepts here, right? So if I can say if an, they can say all the lines starting with an uppercase letter. So whatever is the logic they're asking you to do, that if condition alone is going to change for us. And then I say f2 dot write of line. Now once I am done, I have to just close both the files. F dot close and f2 dot close. So ideally, there are different ways. What I can do is I can just pass the F here also. I can pass the file name there so that this, after this copy, I can go and check the file here. But anyway, nevertheless, we'll not complicate things here. So this is a simple program for us. Let's run this and check. Let me run this. So the last few programs of 2023, right? So 2023, and this is my program 1. Okay, it is not allowing me to use only numbers as the name. See, this is what I'm meaning to say. If you have to fix the errors, you should know what is the error here. So there is something which is preventing it from using only numbers as the... Okay, so let's try this now. So it's showing a lot of warnings. I think it's the last system. It's the latest version of Python. So it is just giving me a lot of errors, giving that my file name is invalid or something. But anyway, it is just running. It's only warning there. So we'll get back to that later. So let me type a line. I love, I'm checking for A, right? So I love India. There is a A here, and there is, let's say, yellow. There is no A here. And let me have another word. And let me put the exit. Okay. So I love India, yellow, red. So it has come there. Let me go back. What I will do is, I will do this also. While writing, let me also write X plus and put a new line there. And let me open this in write mode so that the previous content gets erased also. So let's run this now. It's giving me the same warnings. Okay, so now again, I have my E and I have a no E line. And I have another line. So there are 3 lines here. Okay. Now this file is going to contain 3 lines for me. And it is printing it here for me. And let me check, go there and check. There is an output file also, which has only I love India. So this is what we wanted to create. We wanted to move or copy the lines which had A in it. So in I love India has a A, whereas yellow and red, there is no A in that. So it has been copied to another file. So here you can see that it is written in the next lines. I love India, yellow and red. Just took a random example. So this is one important program that we have to remember for text files. So usually text files, it will be counting, right? We have done a lot of models here. Those are easier programs. You just have to count the number. So you have to come here for line and x. If x, instead of copying it here, I think this would be the line we usually change. Instead of def copy, we used to have def count. So we will just add on. We'll just add if there is a E, I, O, U. We have done a lot of questions on this. So text file, this is the maximum model that you can expect from here. Binary files, all the models are already there in your uh, previous video, so you can always refer to that. I'll be concentrating on your stacks. Stacks and maybe I think stacks is better. We'll finish off stacks. Right, let me open the program for you. So stack, there are 2 models. We have done this also in our previous videos on stack only programs. But as a quick revision, we will do this. I'm just creating an empty stack. And once I am done by creating, I have to have 2 functions. One is push and the other one is pop. So what do I do in my def? Let me take a list as an argument. This is not required because we are going to globally declare it, but nevertheless, let's have it like this. So I have, depending on the question that your teacher is giving you. So def push of L, and what I'm going to do for each element in my list, I'm going to, if this is the program for checking if the numbers are divisible by 3. So if the number is divisible by 3, so if x modulo 3 is equal to 0, then stack dot append. So this is our usual program. We are going to create a new stack dot append of x. So now usually we can just append everything. Doesn't make much sense. So they are giving programs like this only, wherein here you will be appending only some of the elements of your original list. Done. So pop is going to be very easy for us. There is no change at all in pop. However, there's no need to give any argument at all here. So here we have done a 4-line code. If you remember, I'll just say while len of stack, because we are going to only print the stack not equal to 0. So while true also I can do, but this is a better thing. When length of stack is not equal to 0, I'm going to just print stack dot pop. So once I do this, the last element will be printed first and also deleted from the stack automatically. So this is for both. So now they would have given in the question itself, when every element is done, print something, print underflow, stack is empty, some statement they would have given. So this is your program. This is the same program if you remember for your theory also. It's the same thing for your practical also. There is no change here. But they would have just tried to make it a little more interesting by using a menu driven program. So first is you can just say L is equal to, I'm using only numbers. So I'm going to use my eval input function, which you have studied in grade 11, right? So eval input, enter the numbers. You can always do it in the way that you know. You can also put a for loop and get one by one and just say L dot append of X. So you can do that also. It will perfectly work. There's no rule that you should not do that. So once you use your eval input, L is equal to, there's a single line which is done. I'm going to call. So before that, let me print the menu. Let me say choice is equal to input, int input. Let me take a input choice. Let's say 1 for push, 2 for pop, 3 for exit. So if CH, the program is just becoming big because of these steps only, otherwise the program is long back done. If CH is equal to 1, I'm just going to call my push function with the list that I just got. If CH is equal to 2, I'm going to call my pop function. I can just say else break. I'm doing that only. But yes, if your school mandates on checking for 3, you can check it. And then for else, you can say invalid choice. It's perfectly your choice. Done. Now let's run this program. And this is very easy. There's no file involved. So this should work fine for us. So let's say this is program 2. Break is outside loop. Okay, I did not put a while loop. That's why it's saying that. Okay, enter the numbers. Yeah, I have to do this only when I have to keep on doing this again and again. So the user has to keep on entering the choice. Let me run this. Enter the numbers. Let me say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So only 3 and 6 are divisible by 3. So when I say push and when I say pop, just printing me 6, 3. So first 3 is going to get appended and then 6 is going to get appended. And finally, when it is pushing, it's going to push in the back order. So that's it. And the program is done. Right. So this is a very simple program for stack for you. So I've copied the same program. I'm just going to the dictionary version alone here. So for the practical, you might have either a list or a dictionary. They are not going to go beyond that. They can simply ask you a stack of employees or student or something like that. Very, very simple. That is what is there in the syllabus also. But if at all your school mandates you on using a dictionary, then I thought I can also do one model on that. We have done, but we are not stressed on it because I've told you that it is not very important, but we have to be prepared because off late they are also asking it as a sure short 3-mark question for us in the theory exam also. So let's start with, I have an empty stack anyways, there is no doubt there. So the only change will be here. Let me write it as D just to make sure that you remember it is a dictionary here. So the condition is here is going to also for, we are going to do the same thing here. What we are going to do is we are going to have a student name and his marks. And if his marks is greater than 400, right, then we are going to add him here. So now for X and D means for each key, right? So let me write it here. For each key in the dictionary, if the value dictionary of key, if you remember your 11th standard, is greater than 400, then only you're going to append. What are you going to append? You're going to append the key is one way. If you're going to append the key, then you will get only the student name who has scored 400. Now, if at all they want to slightly twist it, the entire record they want, then yes. Again, we have done one model, if you remember, in while doing the stack also, instead of 1 mark, there are 3 marks. So then we used to check if the last mark is TS3, I remember the program. So if that is the case, then we have to say D of key of what? So the value you have 0, 1, 2. So you have to go and do that. That is there in the theory part. But practical part, I'm not sure. If that kind of program is there in your record, then you have to study that. Anyway, here you just have to append the key here. So far we have not changed much at all here. Instead of using a list, instead of saying the X, we are trying to use a dictionary. So I've just given a key there. The pop, there is no change at all. It is exactly same function for your list as well as your dictionary. So I'm not even touching this program. If you look at it, def pop behaves in the same way. So there is no change. So that is why sometimes they're asking you only dictionary for 3 marks. They're not even asking you the pop function because no, they know it is very easy. So let me create a dictionary first. So I will say n is equal to int input, enter the number of students. Okay. So now let me create a dictionary first. So I will get the number of students. So for I in range n, so that I know how many times I have to run this. I have to say, let's use A, B, whatever we want to say. Let's say name is equal to input, enter student name. Then let's say marks. So now what I can say is, yeah, I'll put the marks is equal to I have dictionary. Let me declare an empty dictionary here because I've used the name D. I'm using the same name here. So D of name, the key is my name here, is equal to the value. Again, it could be a list, but in this case, it's very simple. It's only a value. So I'm just putting marks here. So now the dictionary is going to be created for us. We are going to get the input from the user and finish creating this dictionary. And once they say push, I'm going to push with the D here. I hope it works. I'm just doing it the first time with you. Okay, so then I have a pop and I have a break. Let's run this and see any errors. Okay, number of students, I'll take 2 students. And let's take, we said 400, right? So let him get a 340. And there's a BB and let him get a 450. So push, pop, yes, done. So there's only one student, he got a 450. So the student that who has scored above 400 marks is only one student. The student name is here. So I think these are pretty much your program models for your practical exams. And definitely go through the previous videos of your text files, binary files, and CSV files. And as I told you, comment below if you have any further doubts on your practical portions. So as of now, concentrate on your practical portions. And I'm not sure about the other regions. You'll be having your pre-boards coming up pretty soon. I will see how much ever possible, if possible. I will try to make some concept videos on, primarily I would want to concentrate on your MCQ type of questions, wherein I want you to score full on full in that. So otherwise, I think basic programs you should be able to manage with what has been already taught. And networks, I'm getting a lot of mails also saying, ma'am, is it enough for networks? See, networks is it's out of context for the practicals, but I'm just saying networks is when the weightage is for 10 marks. And we know definitely there is a 5-mark question from networks. It is the same pattern in your sample paper, in your additional practice paper, in board paper, in compartment paper. So in all these 4 papers, it is going to be the same. So 5 marks is gone for that question where we know the answers now itself. Which is a server and why is it a server? And what device, whether it is a hub or a switch, and then repeater, router, firewall, telnet. So the standard questions which they are asking for your 5 marks. The remaining 5 marks, you have 1 mark and 2 2-mark questions. 2-mark questions, we know a pretty lot of questions, abbreviations they are asking, we know that. And how much ever we prepare, from whichever book we prepare, if they ask tough, it will not be there in any book. So that is something which is not in our hands. That half mark is always a risk factor there. But other than that, we know the standard questions of which topology is better, what are the advantages of it. So networks also, if you just go through the notes that I have uploaded some also in the place for you, I think it should be more than enough. Okay. So I'm going to stop this here and wish you all the best for your practical exams and wish you all a very happy new year. It's a very memorable year for all of you. So I hope you all achieve whatever you want to do in your career and see you all very soon. Bye bye.